in 2018, I was at a traffic stop behind a whole bunch of cars. Everybody stopped, red brake lights everywhere. You couldn't miss us, but this guy come around the corner and runs right into the back of me. And he ended up blowing out a major blowout in a disc in my C7T1, I think it is, and then the L4, L5. And then I had some bulging disc in that same area above and below the where the injury was. So they sent me to chiropractors, two different chiropractors over the 2 years, trying to get this pain from a 10 all the time. So two different chiropractors, two different neurologists, and then two different neurosurgeons. Because when they tried physical therapy and chiropractic care and decompression and everything else they tried, then they sent me to a neurosurgeon to try doing injections, and none of that worked. So for 2 years, it was so severe, I couldn't sleep laying down. The pain was just too bad. So what I finally ended up doing was get a recliner, push it up against the wall so the back wouldn't go back, but I could still put my feet up. And that's how I slept for 2 years. 2 years. And I was taking care of my 85-year-old aunt at the same time. So life was not good, and nothing they were doing was helping me.
Michael,
So
I
a
just want
friend
to
of mine,
understand
yeah.
this real quick because I just
Mhm.
want to process. You get in this horrific car accident. It sounds like they just rear-ended you. They missed the stop sign and boom. And
Mhm.
you've got explosions in your C7, T1, L4, L5. I mean, just so I understand that, that's like massive spine, upper spine, lower spine. It's just kind of blowing out, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then you said that you're in pain of a 10. I mean, what
All the
does
time.
pain of a 10 mean? Like what? I mean, that's like what? Like
Oh,
just
I can't even explain it. The pain was so severe, and it was all the time. And there was nothing that anybody was doing. Although they tried medication, they tried everything. The only thing that would help was some strong, um, heavy sedated type medication that would help a little bit. But then I couldn't take care of my aunt, and she's 85 and she was wheelchair bound, so I could not take any kind of medicine. I don't like medicines anyway, but I could
so,
not do that and take care of her.
so
So
you're basically for 2 years at a pain of 10 and sleeping on a recliner. I just want to process like how that must have been for you. Not great, huh?
I'll tell you, it was so severe. And I think if it wasn't for the fact that I had to take care of my aunt, I don't know how dark it would have gotten for me if I would have been able to hang in there. But thank God that I had somebody else that needed me more than, you know what I'm saying? More than
Yeah,
that, than dealing with
more
the
than
pain.
the pain.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
I just wanted to understand that better. So then what happened?
so a friend of mine, Peg Williams, she was suffering from severe neuropathy in her legs. It was so bad at night, she'd come home, she'd go to bed, and she'd lay there crying all night long, every night, from the pain from this neuropathy. So a friend of hers who had shoulder problems, Bob and Amy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they told her, because of back and shoulder problems of Bob and his son that were they found relief. They said, you got to try this. So she tried it. She found relief, and she said, Michael, you got to try this. She seen the pain I was in. She said, you got to try this. And she said, what do you know about stem cells? And next thing I know, I start wearing these patches. In about 7 days, I wear it on the right there at the C7, and I wore it 12 on, 12 off every day. And about 7 days in, I started noticing it wasn't at a 10 anymore. It was like at an 8.5, 9. And that was huge. That alone would have been great. But at the 30-day mark, it was right at 30 days, I woke up and I had no pain. And I said, no way. And day after day, I'm waiting for the pain to come back. And it didn't. Now I kept wearing the patches, then come back. So I had no pain in my upper back, no pain in the lower back, but I did have sciatic pain still going from the L4, L5, that pinched nerve, down my outside edge of my leg, all the way down just above the knee. So I said, what? I didn't know what I was going to do. So I started playing around with the patches. So I took an Eon patch and I put it on the point of pain because I know that's an anti-inflammatory patch. And then I put a second X39 on my L4, L5. So I'm wearing two X39s, one high, one low. And then the other one down on the point of pain was the Eon. Now I
Okay, let
tried
me make
ice
sure
wave.
I understood that. So X39 right below the back of your neck, like around your C7, right? If we're talking spine.
Right.
And then another X39 on your L5, which is right above your, your butt, right? Right
Yep.
there, lower
Yep.
back.
Yep.
And then you went down, you said, where does my pain radiate? Which is right down to your knee. And you block the pain with an Eon, which we know Eon is really good for what? For getting at that, tension,
Inflammation.
that spot. Yep.
Yep.
And so interesting. Okay, so go on.
It only took 20 minutes.
20
20
minutes.
minutes. 15 minutes, I noticed there was a change. 20 minutes, the pain was gone. So I kept using it every day, and I would take it off sometimes and say, okay, well, yeah, it's still a little bit there. But I did that for about two or 3 weeks. And I noticed I could not wear the Eon patch and the second X39, and I was still pretty good. Now, every once in a while, I'll turn wrong or something, and I'll get that pinch, and I'll get the X39, the second one out, and the Eon patch, and took care of it. I tried the ice wave, and that really didn't work there. It works in other places. It just didn't work for the sciatic pain like the Eon and the X39. Now, one thing I did remember that David, our president, and the guy that unbelievable, brilliant man that invented these patches, had mentioned about when the X39, he said some people don't get relief as fast as other people. And then he said there's two reasons. One, he said a lot of times you may have something else going on that your body knows is more important. Like if you have a liver function problem, or you have adrenal problems, or a thyroid problem, or a heart problem, it's going to go take care of that first because that's more critical. And then the second thing he said is that with the X39, it stimulates and activates stem cells to go do the repairs, like when you were younger, when you had billions upon billions of stem cells. But he said it activates them and it sends them in there to do repairs. But because of the inflammations there, the inflammation will kill off and block the stem cells from getting in and doing its job. So not as many get through. They still get through, they still work. It just takes longer. So I said, So I started pairing up more with the Eon patch and the X39, and it made a huge difference on other areas and stuff.